Hello and welcome to the Irish Hunting Podcast, the no bullshit podcast for the outdoor enthusiasts. If you're into hunting, fishing, fine wines and even finer foods, you've come to the right place. So pull up a chair.
Welcome back to episode number 86. On this week's episode, we welcome Robert Treacy into the hot seat. Robert, a member of the Defence Forces for 26 years, clay shooter, target shooter, deer hunter, rough shooter, dog trainer, and fisherman. And also my best friend. Hope you really enjoy this one, folks. Hey guys, welcome back. I know we've been out of action here for a couple of weeks. Av's dad has been in hospital, as I probably said the last time, for the last couple of weeks. We've had our own ups and downs here in the last couple of weeks as well, with kids and so on and so forth, being sick and so on, and hospital appointments and all kinds of jazz. Anyway, we're back, and I think I'm really excited about this week's podcast, more than I've been in quite a while. So we'll get to that in just a minute. In terms of, I suppose, before I kick it off, I wanted to just give a mention to a friend of mine that's passed away this week, Lisa Price, Lisa Cross. She got married just a couple of weeks ago. You probably heard me mention her on the podcast a couple of weeks ago. Unfortunately, she lost her battle this week with cancer, you know. And Jim, her dad, was the first man to see me alive, just before my dad. He's my dad's best friend. They're a great pair of friends, and probably similar to the man I'm about to have on. They've had each other's backs for many years now, you know. And I suppose I wanted to just take a moment to honour her and to honour him in their fight. She was one hell of a fighter. And I'm trying to say it without getting emotional, which is hard. But she's left behind 3 kids, and a husband and a family who loved her dearly. But she fought like no other person I'd know, and I think she's her father and her mother's daughter. In that, I know no other people who would go through it the way they've gone through it and taken it on board. You know, they're a family who are hugely united together. They face challenges head on. As I say, she's a warrior, and I mean that in the true sense of the word. You know, no step back, no surrender, no defeat, and she's flying high now at the minute. And our thoughts and prayers are with Lisa, her family, and everyone who knew her. And I suppose that brings me on to this week's podcast. This is a man similar, as I said, to my dad's friend Jim, in that when you're, I suppose, describing a friend, and we all have friends and mates and stuff like that, and acquaintances, I suppose, you know, this is one of my best friends. This is my best friend. I only know him probably 12, 13 years, you know, but he's been with me through some of the hardest times in my life. And I know I'm probably bringing down the mood a little bit before hopefully we take it back up again. But, you know, as probably all of you guys know, my family has been through its own share of ups and downs. health-wise, all different types of struggle in terms of business and so on and so forth, and friends, so-called friends shafting you and all that kind of stuff. And I could write a book on that stuff, and maybe someday I will. There'll be a lot of people, unfortunately, getting poor mentions in it. But this is one of the few people who, if I could describe him, I don't know, it's not doing him justice, but Ron Seal, exactly what it says in the tin. He says he's going to do something, he does it. It brings me back, way back to a time where Avril was pregnant with one of the kids. I can't remember which, years and years ago. And there was a kind of a rowdy crowd in one of the wards fighting with nurses. It was clattered them in, they shouldn't have been in, and nurses wanted to clear the ward. And I was on the phone to him. I said, tell him, the news or whatever. And I said, going back in here now. I said, there's a bit of trouble here in the ward. I said, listen, I'll have to go. I'll talk to you in a while. So with that, I put the phone in the pocket. It was on silent, obviously. Went in, seen Nav, and was doing a few bits, and maybe an hour or half an hour probably had passed. I took out the phone, and there was messages. Here, man, I'm on the way. Everything okay there? Yeah, just let me know, yeah? And he was literally going to jump into the car to drive to Mullingar from Naas in an instant to help or to assist or to do whatever he could. And that just sums him up in a nutshell. Every time, as I said to you, I've ever needed him, he's been there. And even when I didn't think I needed him, he's been there. We'll go through some of the stories, hopefully, in the interview that of some of the times we've shared, some of the many times we've shared, and some of the hilarious laughs we've had. And I think this probably sums up, hopefully, what friendship and hunting and all that kind of embodies and from my point of view anyway, this is everything that he does not want, limelight and spotlight on him, me trying to prompt him to talk about things that he's done. He'll always downplay them. He's a fantastic, phenomenal shot. One of the best shots I've ever had the honour of being in the presence of. And again, he'll swift that off. But he's one of them. He could start a new profession tomorrow, and with his diligence and intelligence and attention to detail, he'll absolutely take it over. So. And that's the way he does things. If I said to him tomorrow, oh geez, I have to do such and such, and he'd say, right, what do we have to do? When do we have to do it? That would be his questions, what can I do to help? And I think that's I'm one of them people who doesn't have a huge amount of friends in my life, but I'm blessed to have one really, really good one, and he's one of them. And as I say, he's my best mate, has been for many years now. I've pestered him to come on to this and talk about some of his experience and some of his hunting knowledge, and try and strip some of that off him, and hopefully pass it on to some of the people listening, or give us a laugh along the way. So I really, really hope you enjoyed this one, guys. It's as I say, it's an honour to have him on from my perspective. You'll probably know him without knowing him through the podcast. As I say, really hope you enjoy it, and join us again for the next one. We've some really cool plans coming up. We have Larry Bulger on from the Grey Partridge Project. We're having Adam Grenda on again to talk us through some of the epic hunts he's had on. They're only some of the ones we've coming up in the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned for that. We're back in action. Enjoy this one. And without further ado, it's Rob Treacy. Robert Treacy. This is a turn up for the books, my man. How long have I been trying to get you on here?
Yeah, good while, yeah. Not that I've been putting it off, but do you know what I mean? It wouldn't be
2.5 years we've been putting it off, man.
Yeah, I wouldn't be the most comfortable now.
For everyone who I suppose is new to the podcast. Rob Treacy and myself. You actually got me into deer stalking many years ago now. Feels like fucking yesterday, but it probably feels a lot longer for you than for me. But yeah, you were the first man to bring me out deer stalking. Take me back. We're just talking about this off air. How long do we know each other? Can you remember?
No, I remember we met in a BJJ club. I bet you up there for a couple of years. No, he wasn't.
For anyone who doesn't know now, that's a BJJ club, yeah?
Yeah. My first real memory of you was, you were on, I think it was your first day. And I was training for a competition. I said, there's new meat. I'll play with him. And I got you in an armbar and you picked me clean up off the ground with one arm and went to slam me. You're not on the rules.
I had forgotten all about that until I think you were brought up, I think only a couple of months ago. And I remember, flashback then, because I remember somebody, like, we were rolling around the ground. I didn't know what we were doing, first class. And then you swiveled in to what I then knew was an armbar, and I remember panicking. So, I don't like this, so let's stand up. And I remember looking around because Ado and Mark and a few of the other lads were there, like,
they all jumped in.
No, don't, you can't do that. Yeah. But he's trying to pull my arm off. So that was our first introduction, I think.
I'd say that was about 2014.
I think I was at 6 months or something. I was getting married.
Yeah.
So I think I got married in 2013.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was 2013. I have yourself, Mark. Who else is there?
As,
yeah.
And that German girl.
Yes.
I can't remember that girl's name.
I can't remember, yeah.
But that's where we first met. And then, I don't know how we start going shooting.
I don't know. I think one night, I remember one night we were outside Carberry and the exhaust came off my car. Do you remember that? No? Yeah, it came off my car, my white car, and I remember I was trying to stuff it into I think, because we used to go in training, and then everyone used to disperse after training and stuff like that. And I think it was you helped me put the exhaust in through the back window of the car, and I think we got chatting for about half an hour afterwards. And then you came to the wedding. I sent you a picture the other day of the little ornament. That's where that came from, yeah. And and then I tried to badger you into going for a few pints, yourself and Mark O'Cullen then. And then that was always a mission. I remember I left the group at one stage because you were always pulling out. And then we went on. I think we had a chat about, I think it was shotgun shooting first we went out doing.
I think it might have been. Yeah, I think you're right. And then the first time we went deer stalking would have been up in Wicklow.
Yes.
Yeah. Sure, look, I didn't really know what I was doing either. Now, I'm shooting since, with my dad, I started when I was 5. Yeah? But he wouldn't have known what he was at either.
Everyone's playing the game, yeah?
Yeah.
Come with me, I know what I'm at.
We're a lot more civilised now.
Yeah.
Do you mean? We're a lot better at it now. But when we first started off deer stalking, I was trying to teach you. I didn't know anything really myself.
Going back, you mentioned you're touching your childhood, right? So your dad did a little bit of shooting, bit of rough shooting.
Yeah, he's from Tip, so he would have done a bit of rough shooting. And that's where I would have started. And then when I met my father-in-law, because I thought I was good at shotgun shooting, until I went out with him and we shot a 50 bird. And do you know how many I shot?
Go on.
5. And it shattered me.
That's a great leveler, isn't it?
Oh, stop. And then I took up a bit of clay shooting, and he's obviously, he's big into dogs,
yes,
trialing.
Yeah.
And he managed to get me an invite shooting up the north with his crew that do dogs. So I was lucky in a sense because they're a great crew.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Jim, in fairness, for anyone who doesn't know, Jim Warren is renowned countrywide and further afield for.
Now he'll have a fit now that you're saying that.
I know, but he is.
Yeah,
credit where credit's due, and that's not overplayed. That's underplaying by a big stretch.
Yeah, but that whole crew, in fairness, took me in and taught me some, not even about shooting, about dogs, everything. So,
and in fairness, since I've known you, you've given me little tips and stuff like that along the way, which is indirectly. I've learned from them lads. They don't know yet, but I have, because I was similar.
You had one in the Muncher.
That's right. Pat Brennan. Pat is a great man to know as well. Wealth of knowledge. But and that, I think I've been down a couple of times. Your dad, I was down where your dad was born. We travelled
in
through it.
Puckane,
And
we did a trial just outside.
Correct. Yeah. A good shooting country down there.
Yeah.
Good shooting country down there. And then you guys had a house or a holiday home down there?
No, not there, in Roscommon.
In Roscommon?
Yeah, so I would have done a lot of rough shooting and fishing and stuff down there, because there was a lake right in front and then all the fields behind.
Which I had the pleasure of, I think last year was my first year down there, was it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. That's where you got your first pike.
My first pike, yeah. Yeah, a lovely part of the world. Like Roscommon is renowned for its hunting and fishing. There's, it's a way of life down there. Some brilliant places to shoot and to hunt. So, and then what did you start off shooting first? Rough shooting?
Rough shooting.
Yeah.
And then I bought, I think I was 16 when I got my first shotgun, and then shortly after I bought a Spaniel. And sure, I didn't know, I actually sent it away to a fella in Skerries to be trained. And he did a great job with it, but he probably should have trained me as a handler how to use it properly. But I was only young, but it was a great dog at that time for me. Yeah. And so that's what I grew up doing, rough shooting.
With Spaniels was always your
Spaniels, yeah.
We're talking about that the other day. Actually, it seems to be a lean towards one or the other. Obviously, I have both at the minute, but the Spaniels they're just fantastic.
Yeah, but it's what I started off with. I don't know any different. So I like them.
And when you were rough shooting down there, what were you shooting?
Pheasants, woodcock, snipe, all the normal stuff. Foxes, duck. Yeah. We'd be remiss then, because this story myself and yourself have talked about it a few times. I think you brought Laura down to Roscommon. She told you this story, did she? Yeah, I brought Laura down. I think it was the first time I brought her down. And obviously her dad shoots and has dogs, so she was playing, I'm well used to the country life. Grant. So I brought her out shooting, and I shot 2 foxes, and I threw them over my shoulder and walking home, and I could see her looking at me because she didn't like it. Now I got her out again since, but no, she's not.
And a special mention, I suppose, the 2 women here, since we've started, we get away with murder, man.
No, we do. And I was told if she doesn't get a shout out, I'm in big trouble. So
big shout out to Laura
and Nav. Yeah, because in fairness, they hold the fort when we go away, and we're away
quite a bit.
Yeah. So
I think there's never an issue. There's I think they both know once we're kind of together, we can stay out of
any sort of trouble.
A little bit of trouble, yeah. So a big shout out to the girls.
Yeah.
Moving on then. How did you get into deer stalking?
So
I don't actually know this.
Do you not?
No.
Right. I bought a rifle. I applied for a license and I went out. That's
as simple as that.
I was working up in Wicklow in the Venture Centre, and they said, yeah, there's plenty of deer, you work away. But I wasn't really armed with any knowledge.
Yeah.
Like stuff I looked up on YouTube, how to grolic a deer. Like that's the truth.
Yeah.
I had no one to show me. But in terms of shooting, I did a lot of shooting and work, so I would have been comfortable enough shooting. But in terms of field dressing an animal, and I learnt as I went. Now, since I've gone and done courses, and I've met people that...
You've done it in reverse a little bit.
I did it in reverse. I've hunted deer for years, and then...
Learned how to do it officially, properly, by the book, kind of...
Was it last year?
Yeah.
Last year I went and did the course with Ronan Gorman in Lakelands.
And I would have been one of the ones where, when the courses came out first, and this is hands up, I would have been saying, it's a bit sending lads, or lads going down there who are hunting and stuff. But I've talked to you, I've talked to Yanis, a couple of other lads as well, and they all say, well worth doing. And
the only reason I was going down is because I needed it to get into a particular stalking club in work, and I thought, I'm going to go down here. Nothing these lads could teach. I know it all now.
Yeah.
But that's not true. I actually learned a good bit.
And that's, I suppose, the beauty of you get this. I've said it before, like, I've been hunting with you now, I think, geez, I don't know. It's definitely, I've memories there where Aria's a baby out skinning the deer, so she's 10.
And I remember that she was very young.
It's 9 years ago, definitely, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, for 9 years. And then, so that's 9 seasons, believe it or not, man. And I remember looking back now, you know, obviously I was a carrier and trolley and stuff like that at the early start. And I was there looking at this. I loved the thought of it, you know, and then I was thinking, I don't know whether I'm mad about this now or not, you know.
Yeah. But looking back, I was only thinking about this the other day. I was never at any stage really, I'm going to teach Anto.
Yeah.
He came out once or twice with me at the start, and sure, we're just going out for it. I never actually sat down trying to teach you.
Yeah.
If I had it in hindsight, I probably would have brought you to a range and had you shoot more before we actually went out.
I think, look, I did it probably similar to yourself, a little bit in reverse. Kind of went out and...
But that's sort of my fault as well.
Yeah, look, sure, it's I don't know. I don't think I would have probably... I'd still be probably waiting to do the course. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
if I did it that way.
Even, do you remember the first gun that you had?
Yes, I do, yeah.
So you said, which one will I get? The 6.555 or the 240? 6.555 all day. And we went out to zero it. And I remember the first time you squeezed the trigger, I was standing behind you and I went, Jesus, some crack out of that. And you said, that's kicking it, not the tall. Let me in there. And then I fired it and went, oh no, I don't like that thing.
It was a wooden stock 6.555 Bergara. It weighed half a ton, and it. I remember, like what you said. I think we changed ammunition a couple of times to see. It was Hornady SSTs. I think I started.
It was the Super Performance.
Super Performance, was it?
Yeah, it was running a little bit hotter. That's why it was kicking so much. Yeah,
and it was kicking like a mule, and to the point where I remember, like, you'd looking through a scope, and after you pull the trigger, it'd be in a different planet. You know what I mean? You'd be looking at the sky.
Yeah.
And then I think I carried that rifle in Wicklow for 2 seasons without pulling the trigger. I'd be there, like, you'd put me on an animal, you know, and I was there. I can't see it. I'd be zooming in, zooming out, and then I'd be what would it be?
Your glasses would
fog. My glasses would fog, and it was raining. And there'd be all kinds of.
Because we had a nice fallow stag, and I remember, this is a perfect one. This is a lovely animal. It's right there. Just shoot it. And you held the rifle up, and your glasses were fogged, and you were trying to. And then eventually you just went, you shoot that.
And that was the fallow buck down in Kilkenny. Yeah. I remember that as well, and like that. This is what probably drove me towards my tripod rather than the sticks.
Yeah.
You used to give me a lend of your gear, because anyone that knows deer stalking, I suppose, you buy your gun. That's when you just start with it, you know. There's all the bits and pieces. I'd be borrowing your binos and your sticks, and the sticks used to drive me demented, man. Because I'd set up in a corner, and you said to me, you stay there, they'll be coming out of that corner, that land to graze there. And sure enough, they would, but not exactly where I'd be set up. So then I'd end up fucking moving these tripods, and then there'd be one leg up off the ground, and no, why couldn't they come out there, you know? But and then you used to end up looking at me, go on, and I'd say, no, you pulled it. And that happened, I'd say 5-6 times before I pulled. And I think, where was my first deer shot?
Oh, I think in Wicklow. See, I'm not giving away any locations in the county of Wicklow.
Yeah. I think it was in Kildare.
Do you?
Yeah.
That hind that was sitting down.
Yeah. And you shot the calf at the far side.
Was that your first deer?
I think it was, man.
We'll have to go back and look at pictures.
We'll have to, yeah. You forget. It could have been Wicklow though either. The chances are it was Wicklow.
Yeah. Because
we used to go up there quite a lot. I remember we used to go up there quite a lot, look at deer through the scope, and then I wouldn't pull the trigger. I was kind of, I get all kinds of, and then, you know yourself, because I didn't do a lot of range shooting or any of that type of stuff, I'd be all kinds of flinchy,
But look how far you're at the coming, because now you're dialing. I've seen you shoot out to 500 odd meters past off sticks. Now, not a live quarry, but at targets.
Yeah.
Like, not a problem.
Like, I think that there's like tips. Obviously, you passed on to me. I remember the scope actually. It was a hog hunter scope.
Vortex.
Yes. Yeah. Non-dialable, and you were at me for season after. You consider changing that out scope, and maybe that would go on as well. And
I remember telling you I wouldn't dig a ditch with that gun.
Yeah,
and you were highly offended.
And then I think so the new setup, I went obviously dial it, and then I said, oh man, this is a whole. I have to learn this all over again, But what was transpired is quite quickly. Once I think in that regard, I wouldn't change anything, because if I had to learn how to dial and to shoot at starting off, I'd be all kinds of. I learned how to get in close enough to an animal, into 100 meters and less, wind and all that kind of stuff. So I learned properly, how to stalk, and then I learned how to dial thereafter.
Yeah, And I remember the first time, because like that, I was only young and I thought I knew everything, and I'd been shooting for years in work, and then I went on a course, and they taught me how to dial and shoot, and how to hold over shoot, and this was like magic.
Yeah,
I remember going,
it's voodoo.
It changed me whole perspective, because I used to use like, when I say holdovers, I don't mean milliradians holdover. I'm just talking about, I used to hold at the top of its back.
Yeah.
For a certain distance, and then over its back, like slightly over, nothing unsafe. All with backstops, just in case anyone has a hitting. But now, dialing's at the change in everything.
Everything, because you're on the animal all the time. Yeah. It's just on.
You're placing
wherever you
around,
want to put it. Yeah.
Exactly where you want.
And the only thing that's going to interfere with that is if your gun is off, or maybe wind.
Some external factors. Will mess you up.
They're within your own control now.
Now don't get me wrong. I still miss.
Yeah. Look, that's there's people who are missing, and there's liars, and that is. Guinness is going down well, isn't it?
It is. It's actually very nice that.
Talk us, I suppose, we mentioned it a couple of times in work. Obviously, you were in the army first.
Yeah.
You're in the Air Corps now.
I'm in the Defence Forces 26 years. 13 years, actually, spot on, 13 years in the infantry, 13 years now in the Air Corps. Yeah.
When did you first, obviously you learned to shoot in the army and so on, but in terms of distance shooting, target shooting, what was your first introduction? Was it through the army or was it externally?
No, through the army.
Through the army.
So I was on the normal rifle teams, both fallen plates and the rifle team, two different disciplines. And then I went on to shoot the long barrel, and that's really where I learned how to dial. Yeah.
And you learned, as you do in the army, the correct way. And
Yeah.
That, I suppose, would you ever consider going back to non-dialable scope with holdovers and stuff?
I would,
Yeah.
right, but in certain scenarios.
Yeah.
I'd use a very low-powered scope for any driven shoot in Europe.
Yeah.
Other than that, no. Everything, I like, it's the precision of it all.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be guessing with a holdover and a wind.
Yeah.
Now, if it's a milled first focal plane scope, then I'd hold over because it's precise.
Yeah.
If it's fucking 22 clicks on your turret, it's literally 2.2 mils is what you hold.
Yeah.
And you can see it. But I'm not into the guessing with a normal reticle.
Yeah. You're going, I suppose, you're trying to convince me to go down that route.
Now, your rifle is beautiful. I really, if I didn't have mine, I'd be looking at something like yours.
And I'll probably, my scope is probably, I'd change my scope probably next before my rifle, for the reason is now that I'm dialing, there's too much going on in my scope. I love the field of view is brilliant. And obviously Vortex, your lifetime work, there's loads of things that I like about the make and model and so on. However, it's just the illuminated red, when I switch it on,
it's like a Christmas tree.
It's like a Christmas tree. And that's the one thing that's probably, I don't turn it on because it's too distracting for an animal. I'd say it's probably okay for maybe target shooting and so on. I just find that when you're pushing out to 200-300 yards, it's blotting out a lot of the animal, and then you're trying to figure out where actually is my center. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it takes you like just a little bit longer, and I'm slow enough on my setup, so that's probably. But talk us through your setup.
So I'm shooting a Blaser R8, the newer version of it. Now I love it, right? It's a beautiful rifle, and the engineering that goes into them is brilliant, and it shoots as well as any other rifle. So I'll caveat it with that, right? I've shot Tikas, I've shot all different calibers and types of rifles. I think marketing got me, because I look on YouTube, I look at different shooting videos, and they're all shooting Blaser. So I saved up and I got myself one for nothing other than I wanted one.
Yeah,
that's the truth.
Yeah.
Now they're a pretty penny, but every time I take it out of the gun safe, it makes my heart smile.
Yeah. Look, I've had the pleasure of having it in my hands and stuff, you know, obviously looking over it and so on. And you've shown me talk us through some of the kind of the features, safety and otherwise.
Yeah, so the safety, obviously it's a decocker, it's not a safety catch, but it's unique in putting it on. It's very hard to knock that thing off. If you've decocked it, I don't think there is a way where you want to make the rifle hot to fire again. So that's one. I really like the decocking on it. And then obviously you can break that rifle down, put it back together, and it shoots. Scope off, barrel out, everything. So I like that aspect of it. And then for what we've started doing recently, going across to Europe and hopefully South Africa. I'm mad to go to South Africa, man, I'm telling you. But I can swap out barrels. I can change calibers really simply.
Yeah. Look, there's really cool. I like your illuminator rec comes on once you.
Yeah, once I cock the weapon, the center. So my scope is a Blaser scope as well. I'm mad about these Blasers.
I know, man.
Blaser, if you're listening, Anthony could do it one.
Label head.
But yeah, as soon as I make the weapon ready to fire, the center illuminate rec comes on.
Yeah, and I like that as well because it's another step that you don't have to do. You know, there's a load of, especially. I think we've talked about it before in the podcast. I think there's two different places you can. Wicklow is kind of unique because it's so undulating and you're looking across something and you're saying, oh, that's flat. Yeah. And then you start to walk it and there's dips 10, 15, 20 feet that you can't see, and deers can literally pop up and you could be pushing them 30, 40 meters ahead of yourself. So I like your setup for that reason. It's always safe. You take it off your shoulder, you're ready to rock and roll. Illuminate reg on. All you have to do is laser tape and dial. That's it. That's it.
Now, I will say the trigger in them, it's the best trigger I've felt.
Yeah.
It really is. And to be honest, I've heard all the other things about Blaser, changing barrels, all that. I've never heard anyone talk about the trigger, and it's an amazing trigger.
Do you like a light trigger or?
Yeah, a light, crisp trigger.
Yeah.
You felt the trigger on that.
I have, yeah. I've dry fired a couple of times, yeah.
It's really nice.
Really nice, yeah. No, it's look, I've told you this kind of off, and we've done a little bit of, how would you say, especially in Hungary, I think we took a couple of pictures and new news on the way. I was, when we had a couple of pints, I'm getting one of them, you know. I will eventually. I think I like the 6.5. You know, I'm really getting the last couple of seasons. Obviously, I've had the pleasure of now shooting it overseas, and then obviously with the dial and stuff like that, my game is just starting to come on. So I'd probably keep that, and I'd probably look at going a bigger caliber. You know,
I'm gonna be honest. With the 6.5, when we were going to Hungary, I was flapping a little bit because they're big there, and I thought, that his 6.5 is going to be too light. Yeah. To my surprise, the deer you fired at, the only one that you shot over there, took no more than 4 or 5 steps.
That's it. Yeah, it was,
dropped into a ditch.
We actually went. This is to my. We were searching 50, 100 meters into the wood.
Yeah.
It transpired, it ran probably 4 or 5 meters to the ditch, went to get up the ditch and then rolled back down again. So it was no more than 20, 30 feet away from where we were looking. But that was that close. We didn't, I thought, oh, this fucking thing's after. And like you, like they're big animals over there. And I said, oh, this is gonna be wrong, you know. But in fairness, yeah,
I'm going to put that down to me. I taught you well. Shot placement.
You could take credit for all the good stuff.
When you make a mess of it,
that's all me. We're heading. Where are we heading? We're heading to the UK. What's the plan? What's your aim when we head over?
I really want. I don't really care about getting all the species. I really want 2 muntjac, and that's to keep the wall at home symmetrical.
Yeah, Robert has a little bit of OCD, OHD. I was going to call it. Is it OHD? Obsessed with heads disorder. Oh, there you go. That's me. I'm obsessed with heads. Yeah, you've a really cool wall. You've before we get to the UK, because I'm jumping the gun a little bit. Pardon the pun. Down in the van today, we were doing a little bit of butchering. We were trying unsuccessfully to make our own sausages this morning. But you brought out your head from yesterday.
Yeah, I was out shooting yesterday and I got a nice, I think it's a nice hybrid stag. I seen it from a fair clip away, and I seen a good few, but this particular one I said, oh, I really like that. So I went after it.
It's better than nice, man.
That's nice.
Now, when you're talking about that, right, talk us through it from the start. There was a little bit of a trek up to it while I'm pulling another pint.
Okay, so we did in total 12k, just over 12k, all up mountains. I seen the deer. He stalked in on it. I fired a shot. So it was 247 meters. It was off sticks. It wasn't an outrageous shot, but the thing ran. And I thought, oh no, I'm not fucking missing. Sorry for cursing.
Yeah, all right. You're in the right spot.
Yeah. So we sat down, myself and Stevie. We had a cup of soup and we waited. So I got up again, stalked in on him, and now I was very nervous. I don't know. I can't remember the last time I was nervous.
You told me this, and I was surprised because you're extremely calm.
Yeah.
But you're very looking. I'm just going to take something. All right, that's normally the way you're having a conversation. Where I'm there like glued to the scope in case I move at half a mil.
Yeah. I don't know why, but anyway, I shot him in the neck. He dropped. Grand. Then I went up to it, and I was checking for a shot. Couldn't see anything in the neck, and I could see a hole, like the strike, back a little bit behind the shoulder, but under the spine. And one, I thought, right, that's where I hit it. Then I was taking the head off, and I found I had hit it in the neck. So I did hit it on the first shot.
Yeah.
But I don't know how that close to the spine, the shock didn't drop him.
Yeah.
He ran off like there wasn't a bother on him.
Yeah.
And that's 270.
Now, in fairness, we carried him in this morning. They're nice sized animals.
Yeah, no, they are.
You know,
yeah.
they're and the head. For anyone who hasn't seen Rob's wall, you've a unique. The hungry stag is unique in terms. It's all white, which we learned a little bit. You taught me again this morning.
Well, I'm going to tell you the truth. Stevie White taught me yesterday because
thanks, Stevie.
Yeah, the one I shot yesterday in Glenmalure was completely white, and I the reason I wanted that one was to match the one that I have at home.
Yes.
And I said it to him, oh, that's unique. And he goes, no, up on the hill here, that's quite common. What do you mean? And he informed me that they rub their antlers off trees and the sap from the trees stain the antlers. There's no trees on the mountain. That's why there's so many white ones.
White antlers. Yeah.
And I didn't know that.
There you go.
There you go. Every day you go out, it's great going out with different people.
That's the brilliant thing, because you, especially in deer stalking. Now, I know we have our own problems in terms of there's people who pretend to know everything and then, don't.
Yeah.
And that's a different day's work. But there's plenty of great people like Stevie, and Stevie. I've been out with Stevie. I've had the pleasure of sharing a hunt with him before, and the man's a wealth of knowledge. He shot all over the world. He's a great shot himself. And there's very little he doesn't know. And it like that, he has that calmness, and I think that's puts everyone at ease.
Yeah. And if you can get in with someone like that.
Yeah, that's
the hard part.
Yeah.
Is to get in with someone that has that much knowledge.
Because there's a trust on both sides. There's a trust on the person who's shooting. Am I bringing this lad out and then, into my ground, and you know what I'm saying? There's is he going to tell other people this is my, where I poach and all that kind of stuff?
There's a lot of that.
There is a lot of that. And then you had a nice drag back out then.
Yeah. So even if we split it, so it was 12K in total. So it was 6 up and 6 back. But it wasn't, because we went kind of a long way back, because it was slightly easier. We didn't have to cross ditches and streams and stuff. So, yeah.
At least it was downhill.
Yeah, most of it was downhill, yeah.
Most.
Yeah, so
there's
that was great.
Another pint for you, my son. Look at that now.
Thanks a million, buddy.
Tell you one thing, this is the IHP studios after coming on here, my man. We're drinking Guinness underneath the sunshine. I made a bit of a sham of mine. I'll give you the good pint.
I'm really looking forward to the UK.
Yeah, that's I think, look, we've been talking about for the last couple of years,
Yeah.
Will we, won't we? And then obviously we'd hungry last year, we'd hungry this year.
Yeah, but you're some man, because you move very fast. Because I only said, here, we'll sit down. It was start of the year, January. I'm going to break out my calendar, I'm going to pick leave. And then you came back to me, here, we're booked into the UK for this date and Hungary for this date. Will we look at South Africa as well? You leave me alone. My wife will divorce me.
Look, it's I think we have to, if you're going to do something, you have to plan it, and you have to.
Yeah.
It can't be, especially with we both have families, work commitments, and so on and so forth. You need to draw a line in the sand and say, yeah, this is where we're going. I think Tom over in the UK, I can't wait to get over. It's going to be a completely different type of hunting than we're used to.
Yeah.
I was talking to a couple of people who've been messaging in now, obviously on the lead up, and they're saying Munties are hard shot, man. They'll suit your type of shooting. You're very quick off the mark. It's going to be difficult for me, I'm going to be honest.
It depends. Are we going to be in height? I've no idea.
I don't know, and
that's most of the fun. We don't know.
The thing, yeah.
We'll figure it out when we get there. And we're not bringing our own rifles.
Yeah,
we're getting a loan to someone. They're renting us rifles over there. So
yeah, there's going to be a lot going on.
It'll be an adventure.
Now, just today, actually, I seen on Facebook somebody is over in Sussex, I think, Chinese water deer. You want to see the
fangs?
Is it the fangs? Is that what they're technically? Yeah.
Well, I don't know that now for definite. But
yeah, but
I'm going to call them fangs.
We'll call them fangs. But they're savage.
Yeah.
You're going Euromount as well, are you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, someone said to me there yesterday, if you could get like a nice piece of wood, recess your cartridge into it, and then a brass rod, and then mount just the skull. And if you did that twice, one on either side for your desk, or that could be a cool idea.
Yeah.
I'd have to look up pictures of that.
That'll be next year's trip, man. We'll get the wall ones mounted first. Look, ideal world, a nice muntjac, a nice Chinese water deer. You're hoping for 2 muntjacs.
I'm hoping for 2 muntjacs, but to be honest, I'll take
whatever presents. Yeah.
Whatever.
So during the week, I was saying, "Have you any nice fellow over there?"
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So yeah, and on it goes. That's next Sunday. So, and I think Stevie's heading over to the UK as well, is he?
Stevie's going. He's flying out the exact same day we're going, to the exact same area. We didn't plan it.
Not mad.
Yeah.
Mad.
No, I think he's coming back a day early. Earlier than us. So
yeah, we're going over on this.
Stevie, this is a challenge. And we have a day extra.
Man, you two can challenge opportunities because it's no competition when it comes to me. But we're flying out Sunday. I think we're hoping to get an evening stock in on Sunday afternoon. So I think we're flying out 1:30ish, 2:00. Getting the car, I think it's about an hour down. Straight out hunting that evening. We'll do the evening stock. We'll have a glass of wine, maybe nice and reserved on Sunday night. You know what way this is going, man.
You try get something early, will you?
I'm going to try and get something early. Yeah. I'm going to try. The problem is now we've nobody. In Hungary, we had Brenny to keep us pulled back a little bit.
Who's Brenny?
And now don't be like that now.
Brenny who? I don't know. Brenny will go shoot. Only messing Brenny.
That's the two of you.
I was waiting to say that, Brenny.
He says the same. Who's Rob?
Yeah.
But he kept us kind of pulled back a little bit civilized. The problem is, me and you probably we're on the same wavelengths in a lot of ways. So when we get on, we have a drink, yeah, and then that turns into 10, and then
Now the other lad that's coming with us is no better.
that's the problem. Who's going to be the break? You're right
It's
on me.
probably you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's not going to go too well, is it?
Because last year in Hungary, you were clever enough. You tipped on to bed. You said, I'm going to the toilet, and then never came back. And me and Yanis.
I pulled a Rob on it.
Yeah. And then you took a picture of the two of us in bed. Not together.
When I say when I early, man, that was about 1:45.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, and back up at 4:30.
Yeah.
And I was rattling. Now, when I was rattling, I thought, and I went into you, man, and I grabbed you by the leg, and I shook you. There was not moving. And Yanis set up like a scene from The Exorcism, boom, no,
I was
back down. It was horrendous.
I was bet
had
in the
a
bed.
drink in the room, man.
Poor Sonny, the lad over there who was looking after us, he minded me like a rare diamond the next
Yeah.
day, bringing me out coffee. Are you okay?
I went out into the dining room, and there was just bottles of wine, bottles of Palenka,
Oh, that's
Bottles
the
of
devil's juice. That's the
beer. Oh man, it was horrendous. I can't wait to go back. We're treated like kings over there, man.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah.
And here, it's some experience, and it's not outrageous. Everyone thinks it's
Yeah,
crazy
it's
money.
not.
It's really not.
It's
like
not.
considering the price of that compared to if you had, say, the American audience that go and shoot elk. There's some price difference.
Oh, like you're talking about a tenth. Of,
Yeah,
less. And for the experience, like the ground and the animals over there are second to none.
Yeah.
They are, because the ones that you can see that you don't want to be hunting, like they're supreme. I've seen, like, Jesus Christ, some of the stags. I actually was looking at myself and Benson had stalked in. It was a kind of like a laneway, and we came around the corner, and there was just a stag sitting there, and it took us 15-20 minutes to get in to see was it shootable, for the animal I was looking for. And I that video came up, or the photo came up the other day. I'll put it back up again. But like majestic, they're it's different. It has to be seen to be, and they look at hunting is their gig, so they look after us so well.
But they're set up right from they have policy from government setting it up properly.
Yeah,
and the results are evident to be seen because I've never seen that many, and I don't just mean deer, boar, fallow, everything.
Pheasants, man.
Yeah, and they're all wild pheasants.
Yeah,
And I don't know how they have so many wild pheasants with so many coyotes.
I like it's because they're wild. Obviously, they're roosting in the trees, as we seen. Like you're driving down a laneway. Like when we say a laneway now, the Jeep is disappearing in some of the thing. So it's you wouldn't walk this thing, but you're driving down and you're just looking up at the trees, and all you can see, like if the day is starting to sunset, you just see big blots, pheasants roosting in the trees, all roosting. So there's so many of them that they're never tame. They're always wild, I think, because there's so much stock. Which is, well, it's hard to know, I suppose. Which are you more looking forward to, England or Hungary? You kind of know what to expect in Hungary, but you haven't got your boar teeth yet. You've got your boar.
Yeah, I shot 2 boar the first year.
Yeah, but your big thing is...
Yeah, and to be honest, last year I went saying I'm not shooting any. I just want a boar, and then not the first deer that I seen a couple, but this again, it was unique.
Yeah,
it was the right size for me, so I shot that. But I didn't go out planning to shoot a deer. I went out planning looking for actually a boar and a roe.
That's and we were driving in. Remember the front gates?
Yeah,
and we were like, whoa, either side of us, roe everywhere, wasn't there?
Yeah,
everywhere.
And that was the only day that we were actually able to shoot. And remember the plane and all got delayed.
Yes, delayed. Yeah.
So then after that day, then that's it. Row was off
Row
the
was
table.
gone. Yeah. Look, it just didn't work out. But look, we'll be good for it this year.
Yeah.
And we're going right in the middle of the rut this year, I think, in the
so,
red
yeah.
rut. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting. I really liked your stag as well. I was delighted, man. When I remember the morning, you had messaged me to say that you had you shot one, and I was instantly we come over to help you. It was all done by then anyway, but we drove over, and I just remember walking into the field. The sun was up, beautiful morning, wasn't it? Really crisp morning.
Yeah.
And yourself and Yanis, I took a picture you two coming across, and I was over the moon.
Yeah, Yanis didn't think I was happy, but I was actually over the moon.
Yeah.
But he actually said it to me. Anthony was happier than you were about you shooting a deer. I said, no, dude, I have to go and drag it out and start grollicking. And
yeah, you were going into
jobs mode.
Yeah.
But I was delighted. I am delighted.
Yeah.
And I really didn't appreciate it until the head arrived here.
Yeah.
And now, look, to be honest, we're not even head shooters. We shoot more for the freezer.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's,
but I'm slightly changing in that.
It's same as that. I think we talked about this. We were never. I look at people with heads and stuff. Nah, that's not what I'm doing it for. And it's still not, because people come into my sitting room the same as yours, and they'll probably say, I wouldn't be. They're not metal stags, or you know what I mean. They wouldn't be. But each one I can instantly know where I shot that one. You know what I mean?
And a little story behind it.
Yeah, of the bullet.
Yeah.
My stag, actually, we shot in Hungary when we went into the forest to try and track it. And we had actually walked past it like by 50, 60 metres into the woods.
Yeah.
Little did you know at that stage, but light was... that's the one thing I noticed there. Like, you're shooting at last light and then it's boom.
Pitch black.
It's like pitch black.
By the time I got to you, it was pitch black.
It was, yeah. And even to the state where I was trying to say, where was I shooting from? You're trying to retrace your, like you're doing it with, once you go into torches and lamps, it's game over then, you don't know where you can't retrace your steps. But I remember I knew I'd hit him. I was 100% that I hit him spot on, unless he started to say, oh, my rifle was off, or maybe the 6.5 wasn't powerful enough. And so all these kind of stuff, to the point where I put my rifle back on, and you said, do you have another one ready to rock on that? And I said, no, just in case now, because we'd seen a little bit of a flash in the woods. So I chambered, just to see, and you went down and picked up the
I didn't say anything to you then, but I picked it up and stuck it in my pocket. And then when I found out that
it was down,
he was down, you got it. I said, "There's your case."
Yeah.
Just as a little,
because my blood pressure was up, but. So I didn't, and that came the whole way back from Hungary, and that's cool. I like that bit, that bullet, that head,
Even the way they send back the heads, they have a little tag with your name. Now it sounds mad, but the string holding on the tag is the Hungarian colours.
Yeah,
they do it really, really well.
Mine's back in the back of the skull.
I kept mine on and put it in the back.
It's really cool. There's something. I think we can learn a lot from them, because it's prestige about the animal, and the way they blow the horn, and the music and the theatre and all that kind of stuff, the honouring of the animal.
Now, do you see that theatre stuff?
Yeah.
I didn't want that at all.
I know you didn't, yeah.
And then when it actually happened, when they start blowing all the trumpets, not that it gave you a little, but it did a little bit. I was like, oh Jesus,
this is nice.
I like this.
Yeah. Do this again.
Yeah.
I think the one thing, or one of the things I'd say I took off, Ursula, Yanis's wife, a great hunter herself.
Yeah.
And a fantastic person as well. And obviously Yanchi, her father is, he's forgotten more than all of us combined would know. Fantastic hunter and guide. But she said something to me, I remember, I talked about in the podcast about the animal that I missed, and she said something to me which was went over my head a little bit at the time, but since has made she said, it's just not your animal, that wasn't your animal, and they have that saying over there, obviously, and I blanked it off because I was into horrors and pits and so on. Say that's going back to your animal. That was if I could have picked an animal, if there was a herd I'm going by and that animal, I'd say that's your one.
The one from yesterday?
No, the one from
over
Hungary.
There. Yeah.
First of all, because I know you like that. And then it was the perfect animal, size, the time.
Symmetrical.
Exactly, yeah. So it was, although they call it an abnormal stag, over there, looks symmetrical. It is exactly what I know you'd like. And then yesterday, you sent me a picture of the stag, and I said, yeah. And you had a choice of...
Oh, yeah, there was bigger stags there.
Yeah.
There was... Like, everyone likes different things. And if you wanted bigger, I could have shot it yesterday, but that's the one I wanted. But that's why they put the animals on the right-hand side. That's why they lie it on the right hand side. It's the right animal at the right time, the right place. Their whole tradition actually...
revolves around that.
Yeah.
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 Because I remember yourself and...
Nimrod?
Nimrod, yeah.
Nimrod, yeah.
He was like a fantastic young man as well.
For me, he was brilliant.
Yeah.
Actually, just sitting or walking around, just having little quiet chats between stalks, he taught me some amount of stuff.
Yeah.
Every time I go out with someone new, I learn something. And that's the truth. No one knows it all.
Even the circle, breaking the circle, opening the circle. You don't just step in over it. You open like a gateway or a doorway.
Yeah.
You can step in.
But even down to the pearl teeth.
Yeah.
Like red deer over a certain age have got pearl teeth, and then those teeth, they fall out when you're boiling out the skull, and then people use them for jewellery. And it used to be a hunter's tradition that the bigger pearl tooth that you gave your significant other, the more you loved them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's all. I would never have known any of that.
And that's the really cool stuff. And I think that's probably driven us towards a little bit more of the, not trophy hunting per se, but like, trophy, like, or memorabilia, or whatever way you want to call it. And it's all that kind of stuff that, when I go into your house, I know some of the animals that are up on your wall,
You know near all of them.
Near all of them, and I was lucky enough to be,
Yeah.
either there or not too far away.
Now, in saying that, see the pearl tooth? I said it to Laura, here, I've got some...
Get that
I
thing.
have some teeth on the way back. I'm going to make you some jewellery. The look she threw me.
Should have told her, just left it at pearls.
Yeah. Should have just said pearl.
Yeah. I think that side of it has been really cool. I think because my journey has probably started off obviously 20 years or 15 years after yours or whatever, and for whatever reason we've probably come to this point in our lives where both our families are reasonably settled in terms of we have structure and all that kind of stuff now, whereas obviously early days it's hard with young kids and so on and so forth. And you were talking there about plans for the future. South Africa has been mentioned quite a number of times.
Let's do it.
Yeah. What's the plan? Tell us some of the elements you'd like to...
Okay, so first of all, I need a 7 Rem Mag barrel minimum for my rifle.
So what you're saying is you need an excuse to buy the 7mm.
Yeah, so I need a Magnum cartridge. And when we get over there, I need a kudu for the centre, and then 2 Impalas, one either side.
That's
Again, symmetrical. And that's all I really want. But have you seen a games book?
No.
Really nice. But again, it's not cheap. But if that's all that we do, we don't go out drinking, we don't. So let's say if we said 2027 and we saved between now and then, we could do it.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the things where I be sort of preaching to people where, I like hunting trips and so on and so forth. Yeah, and I know they're not cheap. They're definitely not cheap. And it can be because we have the gear. That's our. We don't go, as you said, don't go out to the pub 3-4 times a week or even once a week.
Don't go out once a month.
Yeah, and so if that's all you're doing, if that's your vice, you need something. We have rifles and stuff like that. all you're doing then is like you could spend what we're spending on a hunt in a week in Spain just the same and see nothing, you know.
Now I will say, Laura says she has to go, so we're probably going to have to bring.
Yeah. No, we'll. I kind of. I start to drop the hit. You know yourself, right? So for any other lads, you'll know the crack. You have to try and ease in the chat. You know, what do you think about that? You know, no, that's a cool animal. So you're starting to. So it's not a big shock. You know. Now in fairness, the girls here are same as Laura. Av will say, yeah, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've talked about. I think we should really start. If we're clever about it, we can organise a holiday based around the hunt.
Yeah.
You know, the girls can go off and have pamper themselves and have their cocktails and do whatever they want to do, and then we'll all converge back for a wild game feast at the end of the night. So
Spain's another good spot. No, not anywhere near.
Yeah.
After South Africa, we have to get that out of the way.
Yeah.
And then we'll have a look. Have you seen the bow hunting in Spain?
Hunt and Steph has been over there the last, is it Acorn?
Yeah.
Yeah, Acorn hunts. Now that seems to be the place.
Yeah, I was watching some of our stories and
They're brilliant.
It looks very good.
That's tough going, man.
Yeah.
You have a whole different, and even I have to say I like the cold because you can work to warm yourself, whereas the heat is a different challenge. Like you remember early doors this year. Remember we were up in Wicklow and the midges never ate the eyeballs off us. You know.
Yeah.
Here's
another thing. There was midges out yesterday, and there was midges. I was up the north shooting in December, and there was midges. The midges haven't gone away this year.
I know. I just remember this year that was the worst. The early doors. Remember?
Yeah. You had your lower back sticking out because you were looking over a ditch,
and you were like the elephant man when you came home.
Yeah.
It was horrendous. That's the deer stalking. Shoot on over to a little bit of rough shooting for a minute. Or you do a lot of shooting, a game shooting, on an island up the north.
Up the north, yeah. So again, my father-in-law Jim, the crowd that he trains dogs with, I would be one of the guns for them. So I get invited up there, and I shoot over the dogs, and then off the back of that, I start getting asked to shoot trials. So the working dog trials. So I've done that a bit as well.
How do you find that? Do you prefer, if I said to you tomorrow there's a trial, there's the island, or there's a day's rough shooting, which would you lean towards? In order of preference? Not, and this is nothing to do with the people or you know, if cost wasn't an issue.
I already have the answer.
Right, okay.
I would go not on the island. It doesn't have to be the island, because there's a couple of, we go to Duran as well.
Yeah.
It's that group of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And their training days.
Yeah.
Because a trial has a significant amount of pressure involved, because a gun can make or break the trial. Like if you're having a bad day shooting, the dogmen will not forgive you for it.
Yeah, because you're after making a fuck of their good dog.
Yeah, and they could have trained the whole year, every day for a year.
Yeah.
And now they're trying to make a field trial champion, and you're after missing a bird. And because that dog didn't get a flush and a retrieve, he's down marks.
And that might be the only one.
So
yeah,
there's a significant amount of pressure on you in that regard. But the training days, there's less pressure on the gun, and everyone's willing to teach you. So they're showing me stuff as the day's gone on.
What they want from you.
Yeah, what they want from me. But also I can go, oh, what did you mean by that? Or how are you getting the dog to, like, how are you stopping that dog in that particular area and getting it to hunt?
Yeah.
Or I might see him do something different and go, what's that, a tailwind? What? Explain a tailwind to me.
Yeah.
So that's why I like them training. And those lads are not afraid to share information.
Yeah, and I think that's when we started the podcast first, I remember being honest, when I was looking back, I was saying, this is deadly, because I can get like talking to people. Because when you're out shooting on your own, you're not going to learn fuck all, man. That's just, you're only, well, not saying you learn something every day, right? But you learn a lot quicker off people who know more than yourself.
Yeah.
So I remember being on the trial day, And I remember looking at you, and you said to me, "Oh, so you could shoot that," and I said, "No fucking way, man! I like that would be that's now transferring what I do for my downtime.
Yeah.
You know, I've plenty of pressure. You know, now you're gonna take that, the one thing that I do like, and put it over here in pressure. So fair play to you for doing that, man, because it's a different level. I say you can't. I was probably distracting you. I was asking you questions and stuff as you were walking, which I'd say you were looking back. I said, why didn't he tell me to fuck off? You know, because you have so much you have to concentrate on. Your bird's going to get up out anywhere. You're watching the dog. You're waiting for.
Yeah, so you're watching the dog. You know when a dog is close to game, right? And then it depends on the cover. That game might run on because the dog's pushing it forward. But at the end of that cover, it has nowhere to go. It has to break. But you know what I'm terrible at? When I shoot a bird, I am brutal.
Marking. Yeah, I know.
And they come over and they ask me, whereabouts is that bird? Oh, and I just think, it's over there, general area.
Yeah, I've been out rough shooting with you, man, and over there could be completely.
Yeah,
you're looking fucking west. You could be fucking south. You know,
and the reason for that is because I'm at the shootings, right? Now I'm either reloading really quickly or I'm looking if something else is going to break. I shoot it. I see I'm at the hitting it. It falls, and then I forget about it. Yeah,
and that's hard. Then it must be hard then to switch out of that mode. So, say for instance, if you're out shooting with me, because that's an inbuilt physical reaction that you can, like. It's not that, oh geez, I'm not on a trail today. I'm more relaxed shooting. Yeah, do you know what I mean? The minute a bird breaks, you know what I mean? It's the same set of, you know. But I have got slightly better because I'm training the lab. Yeah. So I'm throwing dummies, and I have to, and I'm even brutal at that, to be fair. But I've got a lot better because I have to just stare at that one area. Yeah. But yeah, that's me downfall. But I still like shooting the trials. There's just more pressure. I prefer the training days. Look, if you're good enough, there's not too many. I remember the trial up in Derrigan, and when we were there, and there was another couple of guns there, and there was a little bit of banter before we took off, if you remember. Do you know what I mean? Not a little bit of banter, but it was a little bit of. And then I remember halfway through, one of the other guys came over and said, "Hey, you're not a bad shot." So it was kind of like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. There's a recognition, obviously, a good shot. But I had the opposite, right? Up the north, I think it was the very first trial I shot. A fella turned up and he had a beautiful gun, and we were standing in the car park, and he was telling me he'd just be shooting with some of the top shots in the UK, and shoots all the trials. And I remember going to the father-in-law and saying, "Oh no, I'm in a bit of bother here. This lad's lethal." And he just looked at me and laughed and goes, "Don't worry, you'll be grand." The fella wouldn't hit a barn. Why would you? Just on that, like, why would you put there's enough pressure shooting that without loading? I don't think his intention was to load me with pressure, but he was building himself up. That's what I'm saying, himself. Why would you load yourself with that? Yeah. Do you know? I'd be the opposite. I'd be saying, "Man, I'm shite." And if I hit one there, like that, yeah. But he did. I don't think he didn't mean it, but I was going in my head, "Oh no, I'm going to make an absolute shite." Yeah. Yeah, and I'll tell you the truth. The first two partridge that got up, one after another, I missed both, and I thought, "Oh, this is the start." Here we go. But actually, Adrian Doris came over to me, and he had organised the trial, and he said something like, "You may switch on." Oh, for fuck's sake! And I remember just thinking, "Oh, please, God, no!" I didn't miss another bird, and I got a couple of doubles, but I missed the very first two. I remember going, "Oh no!" See, that'd be the difference. There'd be a few differences between me and you in terms of our shooting, but one of the big ones was, if I get off to a bad start, I'll get all kinds of, because then I'll start overcompensating one way or the other. So if I go behind, I'll go a million miles in front. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it'll take me. But you had said to me before, that's what I probably need to do. I need to do a couple of training days, maybe, or shooting over dogs, where you do get to, because the last couple of seasons I've had the opportunity to shoot a couple more than I'd be normally, because there's more numbers in the club, and you're getting an extra couple of birds to shoot at and miss at, and the misses, it's true to say, you need every miss will teach you something, Yeah. And and I'm lucky enough to have 2 barrels. So the second one I can correct a little bit. But I put up a video. I showed you a couple of times where that one could come over my head. That's my kryptonite. You know, when they come straight over me. Yeah.
Clay shooting's very good for that.
Yeah, I know. But I missed every one of them this year in the clay shoots. You know, the ones that were coming straight over.
Yeah.
Because I know they're my.
If you go to Courtlock, right, and go to the tower and practice that, they're actually quite easy.
Yeah.
When you get them, it's all a matter of just repetition. When you get it, you know exactly. You just pull straight through it and shoot.
So, you know, for down the line or going away or even the rabbits, because like that's logical to me. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like I can see, I can judge the speed, and then I can follow and go. So that, but when they're coming right at me, and I overthink it, because what happens to me then is I said, I know this one is not going to suit me, you know. So then I'll overcompensate. I'll be either shooting over my back ear, or I'll leave it behind them, you know. But I can never get on them.
But that what you're talking about, that didn't suit you. The last trial I shot, I missed 3 or 4 birds, right? But they were all the exact same. They got up off the ground. I could have stuck my barrel and hit them with my barrel. They were that close. They got up and went off to me left. And for some reason,
couldn't shoot
hit
left.
that.
Yeah,
and it's because I was treating them as a crosser, but they're still climbing. It's only when on the drive home I was going, what happened today?
See, that's the beauty of doing the type of shooting you're shooting.
Yeah.
Is you're getting all different kinds of birds coming from every angle, in every direction, different speeds. But that's all great in theory, but if you've the added pressure of if there's a dog behind you and a man waiting to train his dog and so on, that bit, you have to be a good shot to do that, you know?
Yeah, right. But my real, what would you say? I admire the boys that I'm training with who are working dogs and are a better shot than me. So they're actually doing like
both.
They're doing both. I only have to concentrate on shooting, and these lads are doing a better job shooting, and they've top dogs. There's levels to this.
Yeah, man, look, there is. Talking about training dogs, obviously you have Finn, and you have Bua now. Well, it's Sean's dog.
That's Sean's dog.
And a big shout out to Sean. He's doing a magnificent job with Bua.
He is. I sent Sean a couple of videos of him. He's only 11 weeks old.
I got to meet him the other day.
You got to meet him the other day, yeah. Sean's training him. Sean, in case anyone in the field trial community doesn't know, Sean Treacy has the next field trial champion. He just wants everyone to know that. But yeah,
watch out.
He really looks up to his granddad.
Yeah,
and so he's gone big into dogs. And he went to the last trial I shot at, and carried the game. And on the way back, he was going, "No, that's what I want to do."
Just on that now, and we'll come back to Sean in a minute, right? Because I want to give a special mention out to him. But the carrying the game, I remember I was given that, bestowed that honour.
No,
no problem.
They loaded you up. They were teaching you a lesson.
Oh man, I could not. It was like the Oasis in the desert. I couldn't wait to see that outfit coming around that little ATV. Man, my shoulder. Yeah. They had a little bit of a sneer at me. I think there was your man was saying, how many do you have in that thing? Yeah. There was, I think it was 10 or 15 rabbits and I don't know how many pheasants this week. Everyone seemed to, and I looked over the other carrier, he wasn't struggling, you know. So yeah, but that was another funny story. But yeah, going back to Sean, if he can be half the trainer that his granddad is, he'll be doing right well. And I know he's on the right path. He's a dedicated young man.
Oh, he's dedicated. Like, he's up every morning.
Yeah.
6 o'clock. Up, cleans out the stables, out, walks the dogs, makes his breakfast, off to school.
Yeah. And that's brilliant. It's brilliant for a young lad.
But Jim gave him the dog, and Jim is trying to train him with the dog.
Yeah.
So if I had that when I was younger, he doesn't realise how lucky he is.
Yeah, but look, the beauty of that is, and we said it before, it'll take probably 2 or 3 dogs, you know, or maybe more, you know, to get to where, and he'll pick his own path then,
his own style. Yeah.
He'll pick, God willing, the bits that his grandfather has of knowledge he's given him, and he'll add some of his own to it, and bits he's picked up from yourself, obviously.
And he's not a bad little shot.
Not a bad shot. I tell you one thing, man. You'd be under pressure. I've been on the. I've been lucky enough to be shot with him a couple of times, and like that now you'd be rocking up yourself, kind of confident. Oh, at least I'm not. At least I won't be last here. You know, there's a 14-year-old here. You know? I need to rock up, and this little fella starts with the pinging these out of the air, and I thought, right, we have to. I've started coughing when he's shooting or something. He shot right well at the last competition.
See, I was a little bit nervous about that because that was a competition, and I was nervous myself because we didn't walk around just as a group. We shot, and the rest of the club stood behind us while we shot because we were the first.
Yeah. To give everyone the backstory, we got there right early because we had to set up all the sponsors and what traps we were going to shoot. All the insurance cards and all that had to be handed in. And we said, look, we'll shoot ourselves off.
Yeah.
That sounds all right, doesn't it?
Yeah, it did, yeah.
First, so we'll get it all done, and then we can go around and mark everyone else's, and take the pressure off everyone else.
And take some pictures and stuff for social media.
All that kind of stuff. Yeah. But I think we were on the first trap.
And everyone turned up.
Everyone just turned up early.
Us. And then there's the normal snaring and...
Yeah. And then we were doubly under pressure then because we had to really get it done quick because now everyone was here. Yeah. They were ready to shoot and we'd already have, so everyone's going to get pissed off where are we going, So now we were literally racing around.
We were barely shooting and I still bet Ross McQuaid, so,
Oh, gee. Ross, I tell you, man, this year you're going to put it
here. One clay. That's all that was in it.
Ross is a good shot, man.
He's a very good shot.
He's a very, very good shot. And a legend for coming down and supporting us. Legend. Yeah. A really cool dude.
If in a completely heterosexual way, he looks great lately.
Absolutely, man.
I didn't recognise him at that shoot.
He's after. I said to Brandy there, I didn't recognise him as well, man. Even after I've seen a couple of pics of there, he's after losing. Not that he had a huge amount of weight, no more than myself, but he's after trimming up, and he's looking right well. I was,
but here he, right at the end, he came over. What did you get? So he told me, it was just one more. He was raging.
That'll be a great competition this year. Great competition because, I think what we'll do this year is we'll split a half an hour before. You know what I'm saying? And we might get Ross down early, shoot off with yourself, and we'll have I can mark the card. Yeah. I can go up against Sean. Yeah. Little fucker's gonna do me, man. Sean will be me and you, and then it'll be Rob and Ross. Rob and Ross.
You went hard on the beer after that.
We did. We had a great day after that, man. Now you missed that part, and that was brilliant. God. That was because Giannis and Kuba came back, and Foxy and the boys were having right. I think we finished up late, and that was a good day. A really good day. You'll have to come to the presentation afterwards and all.
Now you've been interviewing me for a while. How have you found your hunting journey?
Oh, geez, man, that's a different podcast. We'll have to, I was going to ask you, right? We'll get, because I've been winding on. I want this will be the first of a couple. We'll have a series of these, right? Give me the right. I'll tell you one thing. There's been a couple of things, right? You've been. Now we've had a couple of pints. Do you want another pint?
No,
we tend to get kind of all kinds of emotional and everything, right? Yeah. When we have a couple of pints. But we've only been mates probably, 2013, so 12 years? Yeah. 13 years? 12, 13 years, right? Yeah. But it feels a lot longer, in a good way, because you've been probably there through, as you know...
Some of the bigger stuff.
Yeah, bigger stuff and lower times in my life and so on. So we've been through quite a lot in a very short space of time. And then hunting for me, if I'm being really honest, at the start was just getting out.
An outlet, yeah.
It wasn't even, obviously when I met you, I had interest in eating organic and healthy and all that kind of stuff. so that kind of fitted into that thing. But initially, it was just a way of getting out and losing myself for an hour, you know. And I remember there was a time this year, there was shit going wrong, as there normally is somewhere. And I remember you said to me, come on, we go shoot.
I'll tell you when it was.
Go on.
You were out shooting that day and you posted something. You were out shooting in your spot around the corner and you posted something on Instagram and I rang you. What? Is everything all right? And you were like, I'm just having a fucking one of them days. And then I said it to Laura, I'm going out shooting. And I rang you and said, come on.
Yeah, we go up.
And you shot a lovely...
The stag that's in there, the 8-pointer, my first 8-pointer. And that probably sums it up for me, you know. Because at the time where... And there's been loads of them times. You probably won't remember them all, but I remember specific moments, you know, where like I had to fucking stop BJJ for a while because, you know, and so on. And there's been a couple of times where, you know, you're at a low ebb or whatever, and then obviously there you need a focal point. But then there's somebody then like yourself, which I want to thank you for. And this will be the last bit of time that we get, right? Because we've been slagging each other all morning.
You can't see him, he's getting all emotional.
I am getting emotional. But
I remember, only not so long ago, we were out shooting. And we always end up having the crack.
Yeah.
Now, granted, this day we shot it there, but on the side of the hill, I started singing because we were bitching at each other. And I went, you're welcome, and started singing a Moana song. And the two was just fed around laughing.
That's the thing. So it's one of them where you could be having the fucking worst week or 2 weeks, and then you get out and like the other morning, we both said it, the sun coming up over the fucking hill. We actually took a couple of pictures and videos.
Oh,
we're like
sorry,
fucking Spielberg, you know what I mean, up in the mountain. And like we've said it loads of times, how many people get to experience that, you know, the sun coming over the hill.
The birds starting.
There was a woodpecker right behind us, wasn't there? Literally, like literally right behind us. And it's the same fucking woodpecker that's there every year.
He's there all the time.
Yeah. That's himself. Yeah. But like, how many people get so close to that, you know, or to see that, experience that on a kind of regular, and that
probably your audience that listens to you, right, probably get to experience that. But they're a very small number compared to the population of Ireland. There's very few that even go out into the countryside. Don't mind experience of that first light or last light, or, you know. It's
really cool. There's times where we be driving up to Wicklow and obviously it's at shit o'clock, you know, fucking, especially in the pits of winter or whatever, you know, and where you're and even more so now because the mornings are going back and so on. But you'd be thinking, especially on the weekends, like there's people there having a lie on, fucking dying from drink. Now we could be driving up there, dying. But anyway, that's another. But and you're saying to yourself, like we're one of a few group of people that are actually up this time in the morning doing what we do. You know, seeing the sun, like literally, you know, pitch dark, and as you're walking up to your spot, you can see the day kind of opening, and it's only a 10, 15 minute window, or whatever. But I think it's fantastic, and there's I don't know whether it's the grounding or, you know, nature, whatever. It's for me, it's helped me through some of the worst parts of life, and has provided me some of the best times, you know. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, now, I don't know how many more seasons we have doing the heavy going that we do, because I won't say it's a young man's game, but it is heavy going. Like 12k up mountains and then dragging big animals. How long can you do that for?
Yeah, we've said it before. Like we started in the local spot here where we traipse around, and we say, I think every year, how long do you reckon we have here? We've another 10 years of this, another 15 years of this.
I would see that big pig that you shot. We don't have. I couldn't do that this year.
No.
We had no other option bar to quarter that thing, because that was too big.
Like and try as we might, I think, that was, we had a little bit. So when me and Rob, just to give everyone a little bit of infill into how we operate, right? So say if I shoot an animal, well then it's my job then to drag it out, right? And not this hasn't been decided. It's just the way that it's happened. So, no, I can fucking carry that, you know.
Yeah.
So I think you started that, man, right? So then that transpires, and if you shoot 2 deer, you have to drag the 2 deer, or vice versa, and no matter how much the other person is struggling, like the other lad will just say, "Do you want me to help you there?" You know, or no, and you could be on your knees, but that's the gig. So, and we get great sport out of that, you know, and we get back and we could be ready to puke or heave, but you know, now I think in real terms, probably we should quit that next year because one of us is going to have a heart attack, you know. But that mule, that big red was.
Because I was leaving you off to drag it by yourself, and obviously you were struggling. So I said, "Here, I'll jump in. Let a man in there to give you a hand." The 2 of us dragging it. We might have went 400 meters. I know we had about 4K.
Yeah.
No, stop.
And it wasn't a nice 4K. It wasn't like
there was tree stumps
and hollows, and it was horrendous. I remember ringing you. I said, "Yeah, this is a bit big, you know." Yeah. And you were.
You said, "Go get a drag, this is big." And I got down, came walking across, and in my head, I told you this, I was going, big. You wouldn't know, big. I got over to it and went, "Oh no, we're going to need to drag this quite big."
The back, there's a picture of the back legs, man. And like, you know, I was carrying a few pounds that picture, you know. And the 2 of them, like, they started on my shoulders and they went down past, you know, my quads.
This is a real thing. I sent that picture to people in work and they thought I'd photoshopped in an elk.
Yeah.
Right? They thought it was an elk. And then they
Maybe
thought...
that was an elk, man.
It could have been. Irish elk.
Yeah.
But then they thought we were really far behind the thing to make it look bigger. We weren't.
Fuck no. And I remember thinking we probably should have, because it would have made that thing look like a fucking elephant.
I would look like a dinosaur, man.
I was literally, my knee was right behind that thing.
Yeah. No, I've never seen a
that
that
obviously is a true Irish red, you know.
Because the red I shot in Hungary was nowhere near the size of that. That was a lot bigger.
So, getting back to yourself, plans for the future. What's the goals or aim? I know this is the type of thing that probably doesn't you don't think too much about. What's apart from South Africa?
Okay. In terms of what? Shooting,
hunting,
so
training dogs, all the country sports, fishing. We haven't even talked about fishing yet. We'll do that in the next podcast. But
the next one. This year, obviously, we're going to the UK. We're going to Hungary. Yeah, that's plenty. In terms of shooting and hunting, and then we do our own bit of hunting here to fill the freezer.
Yeah,
perfect. I would really like to do a little bit more pike fishing this year and sea fishing.
Yeah.
And then obviously I go out doing the, what you call it? I'm losing words here. With the dogs. Shooting for the dogs. So I get to do that as well. But yeah, if I had a goal this year, I'd like to do more fishing. Both beach fishing. I really like beach fishing.
Yeah.
I know the bow fishing is great, but I really like beach fishing.
Well, I've only caught one fish, man, off the beach.
Yeah, but that day I didn't catch anything.
It was a wrasse.
It was a wrasse, yeah.
Now, we persevered. So that's a funny story, man, because we were out, and every year we go down to, this goes way back, right, to a time where Rob let me down for a day's fishing, right? So I was sitting here with I took a little picture, having another waft of that vape there, good man. So he let me down. It wouldn't be the first time, but so I took a little picture when I was skinny. And I
were quite skinny.
I was quite skinny, man. A cooler box and a fishing rod. I don't even know. If that fishing rod was actually operational, but anyway, I got the fishing rod and my cooler box, took the picture. So transpired, and for years after that, I wanted to go out fishing, yeah, because I had never really fished. And finally, I sent the same picture. I've recreated with the same runners, same pair of jeans. Now they were a bit tight, but I got into them and we recreated it. And then we've been going fishing pretty much every season thereafter.
Yeah. Go
to Galway, do a little bit of sea fishing, do quite a lot of drinking, and then we jump in the sea the next morning. We feel great.
Yeah.
That's been the jazz. But this one particular, it started off really cool. Like, it was really warm. we decided to go down. We got all our bait.
I remember what you're talking about. The heavens opened.
The heavens opened, and I said to you, now the tide comes in quite quick here in Salthill. Will you go way out? I said, no, I think we should stand back a bit. So we set up our deck chairs and our beach rods and all the gear, our cooler box full of beer.
And whiskey.
And we sat, and then the heavens started to open. And I was looking at you, he's not going to quit. So I'm not going to quit. So we'll sit here. And then about 10 minutes later, the ocean's at our feet. So we get all the gear and move back 20 feet and it's down again, have another glass beer, another glass whiskey.
That went on for about 200 metres.
It did, man. It came right the way in. And then one lady, I think, who had walked her dog past us when the tide was half out. We were now in at the pier, and the deck chairs were still out and we were getting every last minute out of it. And she came back and she said, sorry, she actually had a Springer, I think.
She had a Spaniel, yeah. And she said, no one ever catches fish here.
Yeah,
there are no fish here. And then you caught a fish. I had to go and find her to tell her, well, we caught a fish.
I remember there's a line of rocks, for anyone who knows Silver Strand in Salthill, there's a line of rocks going out on the right-hand side. And I remember bringing the kids in there. And I remember seeing all kinds of little fish and stuff. And I said, I remember it's the last cast. That's what we said.
Yeah.
I remember, I think over there beside them rocks, there has to be something over there, because there's always little crabs and little small fish and so on. And I just went out and then pulled in this horrendous looking thing. I didn't even know the name of it.
Yeah, ballanwrasse.
Yeah.
Big teeth on it.
Hard looking yolk. Yuck. See, I love fish. I love eating fish. But I love fish that I like to look at. So like a salmon is a beautiful looking fish. Trout, beautiful looking fish. Whiting. Fucking rat. Pike. You know how I feel about pike? I don't like pike, man. I don't like anything that wants to fucking bite me hand off. We were down last year, to talk about, we were hunting fishing this lake, beautiful lake, great pike in fairness. But as you're walking around the bank, these motherfuckers are breaking. Like you can hear them, do you know, because we were going around the reeds, can't you?
Yeah.
That's no exaggeration. Like they're literally, obviously reversed in to the reeds and they're breaking as you're walking around. And then you catch one and your fishing bag is over there. So me especially, I'm not geared up for it. So I have all my stuff in my bag and I'm not dragging that around. So I leave that there because I'm not really going to catch that. And then you catch something and this motherfucker has teeth like a dinosaur and you pull out your little Leatherman. Here, you hold it open there. And they're like, the Leatherman's about 3 inches, man, and his mouth is about 9. And you're going in to try and get his fucking hook. And he's trying to take your fingers.
Remember the big pike? He near swallowed the whole spinner.
Oh.
Reaching your hand in there to take it.
I know, yeah.
But they make a little noise, especially the jack pike. When you take them out and you're holding them, they make it like a croak noise. I remember the first time you were holding, you were like, I don't like that.
I don't like that, no.
But you got your first pike there. You'll never forget that.
I like catching the pike. I just don't like, don't like having to say able to bite me. I see it like a salmon, he nearly blows you a kiss and says hello, Pike wants to just snap and go off with your finger.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Do you remember the first, was it the first challenge or the second 24-hour challenge? We were out pike fishing and caught rainbow trout.
That's right.
Going nowhere.
Yeah.
On a pike spinner.
Yeah. You were saying to me, this is a spot. I've heard this before. And then out we take this thing. We still haven't caught a pike on the 24-hour challenge. Now, it is difficult. It's difficult enough, man. Not too many people have done that.
No. But the problem with 24-hour challenge is, especially the first one, you name the species. So you'd want to be in a prime location or close enough. For a prime location for pike would be that lake that I brought you to. But then getting a deer and
you won't get that there.
No.
Yeah, so that's in there is that's what makes it cool, I think.
Yeah.
And I think this year we'll challenge ourselves with the pike. We'll go after the pike this year.
You're an expert pike hunter.
I know. Well, I'll have to spend a season at it first. I've been following with great interest some of the pike fishing that's going on now, because obviously I think the water gets a little bit warmer now.
Yeah, they're supposed to be livening up to spinners and stuff now. So,
and then in the colder weather, they like the bigger, kind of like jig rigs and stuff like that, because
and dead baits and dead baits that float from the bottom.
I seen was it you that sent me a Nerf bullet? No.
Yeah, but you can buy them in the tackle shop. Not the Nerf bullets, obviously, but something similar. You put it into the dead bait, through its mouth.
I like this.
Yeah.
I've loads of them in there. Nerf bullets. Yeah, just fucking wrap them around, and then you
shoot them into the lake.
But that makes sense, doesn't it? So you're not like, it's not flopping around the bottom.
Yeah.
Like a big dirt. This is like an a la carte for a pike. It's floating there. Eat me. And what they reckon is, see, I'm getting the hang of this, man, is because it's cold, they're sort of bypassing the smaller lures and smaller baits, because they're saying, I want a big meal, 1 meal and I'm done, because it's cold. Don't want to be active. That's why they like the bigger baits. So now, obviously, as the water warms up, I presume they'll be more active for whatever they can get.
Expert pike fishermen listening to us.
Oh, he is stonewall, right? But that's the thing, man, right?
But help us. Tell us.
Absolutely. Fucking help us is right. That's both in the deer community and in the fishing community. There's a group of people who will not be liking what I'm saying, but look, it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm going to do it.
So back to your original question, that's what I want to do more.
Yeah.
So if we can get out and do a little bit of pike fishing, bit of beach fishing this year, brilliant.
Okay.
And the beach fishing, we can have a barbecue, even stay out the night.
Yeah.
Do you mean pitch a tent, stay out on the beach?
Tense, man. I'm not into the camp anymore.
No, we'll bring a nice big
inflatable mattress now.
Yeah.
Double bed. No, I do actually like the beach fishing was cool. Myself, you and Shawnee actually went last year. I think it was last season. It was last season.
Was it last?
Yeah,
I think it was 2 seasons ago.
Was it?
I think so. I'll have to double check. But I only got out once.
Shawnee tipped the sausages in the sand, man.
And you and Sean still let them.
We did. We washed them off in the bit of sea. I said, Sean, I have a great idea, but I was washing them off in the sea, which is full of sand. You come back and I was still great. Look, I was starving, and I didn't want to get hangry in the company of Sean, you know. So yeah, we had a little barbecue and all. But yeah, no, I love that idea. It's really cool. If it's a nice day and you can catch a few fish, there's nothing better. Nothing better. And we'll hook in with Kevin as well. We're mates with Kevin now.
Yeah, he's a lovely fella. Actually, really nice fella.
He actually, our first year, that was the sun cream year, where we got fucking lambasted.
We fished off the pier.
Yeah,
and I was hiding in the shadows. You were out.
Yeah.
And then you got absolutely. I think you had sunstroke.
I did have sunstroke.
And then the couple next door were looking at us.
Then he moved into the mobile, and I said, "Here, man, you may," because I was starting to like sizzle. I knew when I got into the shower, the hot water was colder than my skin.
Yeah.
I said, "Yeah, I'm a little bit burnt here," and I got out and I seen myself in the fucking. I was starting to radiate. So here, man, no, nothing for this. You may bite the bullet here, man. Put some of that on me back, will you? So I kind of just hunched over, put my 2 hands on my knees, and I just looked up, and here was your one washing the dishes next door, looking in, and I'm a new neighbour. How are you? But yeah, look, that was there's always a good story. We caught crab on the line that year.
Yeah, you caught a spider crab. We also caught, actually, it was all wrasse again.
All wrasse, yes. And Kevin came in. That's how we kind of got chatting to him.
Yeah, he threw us up a couple of coalfish.
Now, you were pissing all over his tyres, man, but that's a different story.
That wasn't me, buddy. There was nowhere else to go, and your van was there.
Fair play to him. He parks just in the right spot if you are fishing off the end of the pier. Just don't piss in the door handle if he's listening. But yeah, we've been going out with him ever since. We got his number that year.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, anytime, and we'll probably follow him hopefully this year. This year.
Yeah.
But we've some other plans as well. We've some other plans to do a little bit of pike fishing.
Yeah.
Now, if it's left to you, we will have no plans, but we'll
I'll leave all the planning to you. I just tag along.
Come here, everybody. Thanks a million for coming on. You're after.
That was a pleasure. And to be honest, you made that very easy, because I was a little bit nervous.
Well, you're in the company of professionals, man.
Professionals.
You know what I mean?
Thanks a million, buddy.
Thanks
very
pal.
much.
You're a gent.